With what's been called a gateway series to Stephen King's novels, what I call the king of children's horror, of course I'm talking about RL Stine's Goosebumps. With the first book being published in 1992, the series quickly gained critical praise and commercial success, at one point being the best-selling series with over 4 million books being sold per month. Though not without controversy, some parents would demand the books be banned from schools, citing they're too scary for children and hold no academic merit. Meanwhile, most parents were just happy to see their kids excited about reading. The books would stay in the classrooms and soon get a television show as well, running from 1995 up until 1998. For me, growing up in the 90s, these books were a staple of my childhood and the best part of the Scholastic Book Fair. Following the run of the original series, Tales to Give You Goosebumps would be published, followed by Give Yourself Goosebumps, where you could choose your own path to follow throughout the book. These were great if you had a set number of books to read over the summer, as you can choose an unfavorable path to make your read a little bit shorter. Goosebumps Series 2000 would run from 1998 up until 2000, during which this time sales for the series would begin to decline, while behind the scenes a legal dispute with the publisher Scholastic and the developer of the series Parachute Press would argue over withheld payments, which wouldn't be settled until 2003. The Goosebumps HorrorLand series of books would relaunch the Goosebumps series in 2008, with RL Stine returning to write for the series after being dormant for almost a decade. A movie starring Jack Black would be released in 2015, with the sequel following it releasing in 2018. A new television series would be released on Disney Plus in 2023, with the second season expected to be released in January of 2025. Goosebumps was a huge part of any 90s kid's childhood, and I'm sure with the later series and the movies and the new show, it holds some relevance to the kids of today as well. With it being October, the season for all things spooky, I decided what better way to celebrate the season than have a party, but not just any party, a Goosebumps themed party. So let's take a look at what I got to throw the ultimate Goosebumps party. To start, I got this vintage new old stock Goosebumps tableware from 1995. I really like the colors and the patterns on this tableware set. The slime aesthetic obviously very cool, very Goosebumps. There's these neon colored beetles or some kind of insects all on the tablecloth, which is very fitting for the series. I love how the plates have Curly on them. That's a character that I always really liked. There's just something about his character design that always clicked with me. I put out this tiered witch's broom, and I'm gonna put some of my Goosebump books onto it so people can take them from the stand and read them if they want, but really the covers of the books are just so cool, I wanted them out as decoration. We obviously have to have the 90s Goosebumps series playing, so I brought out my VHS tapes and I'll roll in my CRT so we can have it playing in the background. To keep the party alive, I picked up a few Goosebumps board games. This one looked like it might be a little hard to put together, but it honestly wasn't too bad. It's obviously based on the book One Day at HorrorLand. I honestly would have loved this as a kid. I was always into the super complicated setups like Mousetrap and games like that. Now when it comes to long setups, I'm not that much of a fan, but this looks so cool. To play the game, the player spins the spinner and moves their character based on the number that the spinner lands on. Should a character land on the Goosebumps logo, they pick up a card from the deck. Most of the cards are ride tickets, but there are a few strategy cards mixed in as well. When a player gets to the ride, they can use their ride ticket to access said ride and play to make it to the end of the ride before another player knocks them off. There are 3 rides in total: the Horror Bridge, Wheel of Fear, and Doom Slide. Should the player successfully make it through the ride, they get a ride token. The first player to get all 3 ride tokens wins the game. I really like how imaginative the board layout is, the colors are great, and the interactive nature of the game makes it really fun, but the rules of the game can make it tedious to remember and in turn to play. A Night in Terror Tower was the next game I looked at, and this one actually took me a little bit to figure out how to set up. I didn't realize initially that the box itself is used as part of the assembly for the game. I like how the player's cards have both the modern and royal images of the characters from the book. It's a nice detail. The art for the Executioner looks great as well, and the small layout increases the threat of the character landing on your square. You have 4 dice that you roll each turn. I rolled 4 of the Executioner symbols, so his character moves 4 squares. Upon rolling again, I move the Executioner 2 squares, I can move myself 2 squares, and use the tower to drop my dice down and hopefully hit another opponent and knock them into the torture chamber. In the book, you're with your sister, fighting for your lives, trying to escape the Executioner. In this game though, you're trying to knock her down so you can escape for yourself. Landing on a Goosebumps logo allows me to draw a card from the deck. This is the card you want to draw, as it allows you to use your magic dice when you land on the spell square. When that happens, you attempt to position the tower to face towards the time tunnel in the corner of the map, which the dice must make it into for you to win the game. If you roll the dice and miss and the magic stones are showing, you can try again later, but if the dice is showing the sorcerer, then you can go again right away. Overall, it's a decent game and mirrors the book pretty well, but all of the instructions and rules can make it drag a little bit. I almost didn't pick up the Shrieks and Spiders game, but it was pretty cheap and the art on it looked cool, so I figured why not. The art for the characters on the cards themselves I really like, and the contrast of the colors make them feel like they're popping out at you. The player scorecards are nice as well, with illustrations from some of the Goosebumps books. On each player's scorecards are 4 tokens. Each round the players will count down and flip a card from their deck. Should the skeleton, also known as Curly, be present, then the players must yell Goosebumps and grab one of the spiders in the middle of the table. For every player playing the game, there is 1 less spider, so for 4 players there would only be 3 spiders present on the table, and so on. The player who doesn't get the spider loses one of their tokens from their scorecard. The player is eliminated when they lose all of their tokens. Honestly, I wasn't as impressed with this game, but I appreciate the effort. If you're not a fan of board games, I have the Haunted Headstone handheld electronic game. It's essentially Simon Says with the player pressing the matching sound for the corresponding character. It's a little confusing to figure out how to initiate the game and what exactly you're doing, but it's super easy once you get the hang of it. I also got this other Goosebumps handheld where you appear to be in a graveyard dodging objects thrown at you and picking up something to throw back. These Tiger Electronic type games are hard on my eyes in my older age, but I remember really enjoying these types of games as a kid. Once you get into the rhythm of the game, it's actually quite fun. For something more modern, I have my PS2 HorrorLand video game, which is packed with Goosebumps themed minigames. I typically don't care for games that are solely minigames, but these are perfect games for a party. So guys, this is my attempt at putting together a Goosebumps themed party. I really enjoyed checking out these vintage tablewares from the 90s and checking out some of the Goosebumps related merchandise from that time. Hopefully you guys liked the video, and hopefully my guests will like the party. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.